Yes, I think it's possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary.
Those Tesla shares sliding lower as we move through the day. They're down a little bit more than 10% right now.
Somehow it's levitating, and I think it's Elon Musk is the greatest salesman in the world. He paints this vision of an unlimited future. I think they're doomed.
I'm skeptical. Private enterprise will not ever lead a space frontier.
Tesla's a sell. You don't want to own this stuff. You don't want to lease it. Heck, you shouldn't even rent the darn thing.
It's an overpriced car company, and they have to become a car manufacturer. And becoming a car manufacturer is a lot more difficult than becoming a high-tech darling.
Nothing's working. This is analogous to the Titanic taking on water after hitting the iceberg and then tying up to a freighter that's going down.
You know, there are American heroes who don't like this idea. Neil Armstrong, Gene Cernan have both testified against commercial spaceflight in the way that you're developing it, and I wonder what you think of that.
I was very sad to see that, because those guys are, yeah.
Why not?
I don't ever give up. I mean, I'd have to be dead or completely incapacitated.
8 weeks later, Musk bet the company on another flight.
We have liftoff.
This time around, everything worked.
Perfect.
If that fourth launch hadn't worked, that would have been it. We would have not had the resources to mount a fifth.
Successful entrepreneurs probably come in all sizes, shapes, and flavors. Some of the things I've described already, I think, are very important. I think really an obsessive nature with respect to the quality of the product. Really liking what you do, whatever area that you get into. Given that, even if you're 7 days a week, all the time, you just keep going and get it done.
You put $90 billion, like 50 years worth of breaks into solar and wind, to Solyndra and Fisker and Tesla and Enter1. I mean, I had a friend who said you don't just pick the winners and losers, you pick the losers.
I'm available 24/7 to help solve issues. Call me 3 a.m. on a Sunday morning, I don't care. We didn't just repay the principal, we actually repaid it with interest and a bonus payment. So ultimately, the U.S. taxpayer actually made a profit of over $20 million on this loan.
Just work like hell. I mean, you just have to put in, 80 to 100-hour weeks every week. If other people are putting in 40-hour work weeks and you're putting in 100-hour work weeks, you will achieve in 4 months what it takes them a year to achieve. A natural human tendency is wishful thinking. So a challenge for entrepreneurs is to say, well, what's the difference between really believing in your ideals and sticking to them versus pursuing some unrealistic dream that doesn't actually have merit? Your product or service needs to be much better. It can't be a little bit better. I think my sort of drive to get it done is somewhat disconnected from hope, enthusiasm, or anything else. I actually just don't care about hope or enthusiasm, motivation. I just give it everything I've got, irrespective of what the circumstances may be.
I think also just don't be afraid of new arenas. You can get a book, you can learn something, and experiment with your hands, and just make it happen. Find a way or make a way to get something done. Not being motivated personally by money is not the same as saying that I think SpaceX shouldn't make money. In fact, it's very important that SpaceX is profitable, or we will not be able to earn the money necessary to continue future development. It's like the Nike slogan, just do it. That's, just showing up is half the battle. You got to try hard to do it, and don't be afraid of failure. You also need to be rooted in reality. So you shouldn't. It's easy to get high in your own supply. You got to not be afraid to innovate, but also don't delude yourself into thinking something's working when it's not. Or you're going to get fixated on a bad solution. You go to the very basic laws of physics, the things to which we believe to be extremely well demonstrated. In other words, the reason they call it a law is that no one has ever demonstrated an exception to that, ever. But I think people can choose to be not ordinary. You know, they can choose to not necessarily conform to the conventions that were taught to them by their parents. Yes, I think it's possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary. Well, it's like the Nike slogan, you know, just do it.
Space operations confirmed.
So it's about enabling the extension of life beyond Earth.
Fundamentally, the future is vastly more exciting and interesting if we're a spacefaring civilization and a multi-planet species than if we're not. You want to be inspired by things. You want to wake up in the morning and think the future's going to be great. And that's what being a spacefaring civilization is all about. It's about believing in the future and thinking that the future will be better than the past. And I can't think of anything more exciting than going out there and being among the stars. This is the first time in the 4 billion year history of Earth that has even been a possibility. You have big dreams, but you've got to have some sense of how you can make those a reality. You've got to make sure that success is one of the possible outcomes. Becoming a multi-planet species beats the hell out of being a single-planet species. And if we're building this thing to go to the Moon and Mars, then why not go to other places on Earth as well?
Just have to sort of decide. Let's think beyond the normal stuff. When you try new things, you try this idea, that idea, a large number of them are not going to work. And that has to be okay. I'm a big believer in us becoming a space-faring civilization and ultimately extending life beyond Earth. The extension of life to multiple planets for the first time. Extending life to another planet is a huge quantum leap. The long-term vision is to help make life multiplanetary. Like, there have to be reasons that you get up in the morning and you want to live. Like, why do you want to live? What's the point? What inspires you? What do you love about the future? And if we're not out there, if the future does not include being out there among the stars and being a multi-planet species, I find that it's incredibly depressing if that's not the future that we're going to have. I think I look at the future from a standpoint of probabilities. It's like a branching stream of probabilities, and there are actions that we can take that affect those probabilities. Becoming a multi-planet species and spacefaring civilization, this is not inevitable. It's very important to appreciate this is not inevitable. If you look at the progress in space, in 1969 we were able to send somebody to the moon.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. Tower
1969.
Just 30 seconds.
Then we had the space shuttle. The space shuttle could only take people to low Earth orbit. Then the space shuttle retired, and the United States could take no one to orbit. So that's the trend. The trend is like down to nothing. people are mistaken when they think that technology just automatically improves. It does not automatically improve. It only improves if a lot of people work very hard to make it better. By itself, degrade, actually. You look at great civilizations like ancient Egypt, and they were able to make the pyramids, and they forgot how to do that. And the Romans, they built these incredible aqueducts. They forgot how to do it. But I want to be clear, I'm not trying to be anyone's savior. That is not I'm just trying to think about the future and not be sad. SpaceX has got 5,000 people, and I get a lot of attention, but I think we're at the dawn of a new era, and I think it's going to be very exciting. What we're hoping to do with SpaceX is to push the envelope and provide a reason for people to be excited and inspired to be human. We managed to do 3 launches, but they failed. And I actually only had money for 3 launches, but we managed to. That was the original plan. But well, after 3, if we haven't succeeded, we'll, maybe that should be that's it. But we managed to scramble and put together the parts for one final launch, and it worked. That's really why I started SpaceX. What I'm trying to do is to make a significant difference in spaceflight and help make spaceflight accessible to almost anyone. When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor.
There are American heroes who don't like this idea.
I was very sad to see that, because those guys are, those guys are heroes of mine, so it's really tough. I wish they would come and visit and see the hardware that we're doing here. And I think that would change their mind.